with what you thought you were supposed to do during the exam. And our job here will be to reconcile versus what we wanted you to do. But I want to emphasize something. The purpose of revision is to learn from past experience, isn't it? Yes. Not to say you are going to get the same exact paper come end of year. But should you have anything that you need to address, most of the issues like that you faced in test 2 will most likely be the same issues you potentially encounter in your end of year examination. So I would want to that for each any notes etc. I encourage you to do it in your particular skill, so that you are actually noting where you answered, and if you did not do it appropriately, you are noting why you did not do it appropriately. So at least you've got a clear checklist of things that you would want to work on between now and the 7th of October. Confirm our test, our final exams are starting on the 7th. Starting with what? We're starting the audit. I have some things happened in auditing test too. How far true is that? 100% true. So hopefully come end of year, things again will not happen. Before I now look at the specific
I think I was prepared for because the case study was really different. You know, we're used to a private sector business model, and all of a sudden we had of fresh.
Okay, so he's saying challenges emanating from the fact that your case study was based on local authorities. You are preparing for examination for the example, there's certain expectation. At times you're going to get a case study and future analysis, or your normal training organization. Okay, that's fine. Any other contributions in terms of specific issues we encounter? Yes. Okay. What the ledger account? You are saying knowledge here. Okay, interesting. I will pass the back to it. So you're just trying to remember or recall from your whatever previous studies. All right, interesting. Any other issues encountered? Test 2 paper that you would want to specifically then deal with, yes. You say up until now you're not really sure where you went wrong around applying activity-based costing, okay? Other issues. Everyone knows where it will take. So what are the specific issues? If you give back test 2, we are saying with specific issues. What I'm going to share what I think are your issues. But I also expect to give you what you think are your issues. So I think by the end of this session, we just covered everything in preparation for the exam. Anyway, so if you get anything else that you want us to share or to discuss, please do make sure to bring it up over the course of the session. But my major output from this session is we want to focus more on our exam technique. Because one thing that I strongly believe is that all of us in preparing for this examination, we are putting the hours. So it means that the knowledge is there. But the question is, how good are we at applying that particular knowledge? Well, I know if I'm to discuss with you right now, can we talk about ABC costing? You tell me what the principles around ABC costing. But you gave me a problem to apply ABC principle. Then for most of us, it didn't come out that well. So you therefore need to see what exactly are we missing as far as exam technique is concerned. Yes. So when we start off with required A. So required A said, based on the information from the case study, discuss the strategic and operational risks that city of Kaguri faces. 12 marks. Then communication skills, clarity of expression, 1 mark. Okay, maybe before I look at the required, there's this comment that we made to say case study was different. But I've got a question to ask for you. Do you think to answer the questions in your case study, you needed prior working knowledge of a city, of a local authority? To say for you to be able to answer the question in the examination, did you need a prior working knowledge of a local authority? Yes. Okay, the question is, what is the relevance of that structure to the requires that we gave you? Well, that's the most important thing. So say for example, do you know that maybe the Ministry of Local Government, it is what role do they play? Was that information and knowledge relevant to the requires that we gave you? So the key lesson that you need to take from this exam, whenever you get a case study, please read to understand the information in the case study. Well, the times our challenge is, the moment we see something that we did not encounter during our practice questions, we get stuck. But I'm saying, if I look at the example of this required, I said, based on the information from the what? Start. We never said, based on your prior working knowledge on local authorities, can you do this? Confirm there's a difference. Use the information I gave you, and with that information, do what? Discuss the strategic and the operational risks. When you're now doing your own self-reflection, did you use the information? Okay?
Well, I hear you what you say. It's just that we did that enterprise is more. It's mainly focused on the private sector. So my challenge was like, how is the risk, how do I meet them? You know, even if I'm doing the study, but there's like a predetermined, model that you're using. For example, like in these companies, it comes up for me to like, yes, it's more like, I know most companies are more going service kind of thing, but for me, it's just how to apply that structure enterprises.
Okay, was it a problem of how to apply, or you told yourself, I couldn't apply? To say you don't put blinkers, isn't it? To say, I've never seen a question like this before, therefore it can't. So, okay, let's look at the question together. Remember, we said we want to reconcile it. So let's break down our required. So our required, the first part said, based on the information from the case study, what is that communicating to us? If I'm told based on the information from the case study, Anyone? Confirm it means whatever I'm going to do, what is the source of my information? The case study, isn't it? Now, before we even look at the next part of the required, did we understand the information in the case study? Did we understand the information in the case study? If yes, good for us. If no, why not? What were the issues encountered? Or did we attempt to understand the information? Yes.
I think for me personally, when I read City of God, and then when I realized that it was already I got a top block. So when I went further, I did not understand anything. That's why I went.
You'd already blocked out. Okay. So now, and thank you for being very honest. She's saying when the moment I saw City of Roads, I knew, she said the silent prayer, it help me God. I don't know what's going to happen in this assessment. But now this has happened. It does not mean next time you won't get another case that's similar to this, isn't it? Whereby I give you an end that you've never dealt with in your practice questions. So the question is, what are we going to do different? What are we going to do different? It's more about what we are going to do mentally, isn't it? If you just tell yourself that without even reading the case study, I'm in trouble. You're going to be not in trouble. Okay, let's move on to our required. It then says discuss. When you're asked to discuss, what do you think is the expectation? A discussion. What is the expectation? Definitely not a conversation, isn't it? So what is the expectation? When we ask you to discuss, what is the expectation? Not what? I know normally in our day-to-day language, talk about we are having a discussion. What is the discussion here?
I think we need to take into account the positive and the negative side.
Okay, take into account the positives and the negatives. Okay, agreed? Depending on the topic of discussion. But ultimately, you need to present a logical argument. You can't just say, for example, the interbank market rate today is 1:8. If we are discussing, you need to have the basis of what you have said, isn't it? Why are you saying the rate is 1:8? Then you can say, based on the information I got from this market, isn't it? So you are justifying your what? Your point of argument. So you are discussing. So what is the focus of the discussion? You are to discuss the strategic and operational. Strategic, isn't it? And operational. When you look at strategic, what are strategic risks? Strategic. Even if I'm asking, can you discuss the strategic risks for CAA? For this question, you have to discuss the strategic risks for City of Kalgoorlie. What is the distinction between strategic and operational? And this has nothing to do with the case study. Yes. Someone can pass on the mic. Can ask me. Okay, if you are saying long term or the over a short term, I confirm we can have a short term study. medium term, long term. How do they distinguish we are going to use the long term, short term, medium term? Yes. Can you pass on the mic? And remember to turn it on. Not working.
I think strategy that affect determined by high
So these are what affects decisions that are made by high level management. Okay, interesting. Confirming our first semester we did strategy. And when we did strategy, what were we talking about? Yes.
I think it's talking about the direction and ways of how do we plan to go. Yeah, that's basically
Direction of the company. And where do we find the direction of the company? Not analysis. Remember, when I'm talking about strategic objective, why are we there in the company when we end? So you can then talk about things like vision, mission, mandate, and some will be part of strategic what? Objectives. Why do we exist as a what? As an entity or as a business? So that's strategic, isn't it? And you look at the objectives, it's not just saying how are we going to achieve our mission or our mandate. That's our objective. Then we look at operational. We are saying in the day-to-day activities. Confirm this operational. Day activities. For example, we are looking at CAA. Operational, what are the day-to-day activities? The conducting of a lecture, confirm. That's a day-to-day what? Activities. Then I'm not talking about operational risks. What are the risks of the conducting of this lecture? We might get power outage, confirm. That's not operational in nature. Then when we look at strategy, what is our vision? We want to make a chartered accountant as an organization. So given the current environment, are there any risks that may stop us from achieving that one? Objective. That makes sense. So now coming back to Kabul. So Kabul, we say it's a local authority. And confirming the case studies, we told you what they do. Did we tell you what Kabul or what is Kabul's mandate? We give you Kabul's mandate. So let's go to the case studies. Okay? So if you go to the first page, I'm here given the introduction, which is more or less the history of city of Kabul. He started off as Rhodes, then post independence was renamed what? The city of Kabul. And then we are told that its location, its geographically located in the center of Zimbabwe, in the Midland province. And the city is divided into various districts, blah, blah, blah. And the city of Kabul is run by an elected non-executive mayor. And when we talk about non-executive, what is that? Non-executive. What does it mean? Yes. Independent, you think independent. But I know you did corporate governance. Does non-executive equal independent? Not necessarily. But non-executive, what does it mean? Yes. Not involved in day-to-day activities, or someone can say not an employee of the local authority. And again, it's not a new term. They just said a non-executive man. And then we are told about around the structure of the local authority. And we are told that city of Kalgoorlie provides local government services such as education, health, recreation, housing, water, sanitation, fire ambulance, road construction, maintenance, burial and cremation services, among others, through its 5 departments. Confirm this, their mandate, isn't it? That's what they provide. So now I'm going to ask myself, I now know their objectives as the what? As a local authority. Happy. Now, based on the information provided, is there anything which might stop them from achieving what? That mandate. Does it make sense? Is there anything which may stop them from achieving that mandate? So if I go to page, I think it's page 2 of the scenario, after the background, where we are given information on the operating environment. This is where we expected to find most of your risk triggers. Confirm. What is the current operating environment? 2018 financial proved to be difficult for the Zimbabwean what? Economy. And Kalgoorlie was not paid. The cholera outbreak in 2018 claimed 158 lives, mostly what? Children under the age of 5. So that outbreak, does it trigger any strategic or operational risk? What is the risk? Before we classify it into the type of risk, the fact that in the recent past we had a cholera outbreak, is that a risk trigger? Okay, so what is the risk? Okay, another outbreak. I would agree, but what is triggering potential for another outbreak? What? The collapse of what? Self-delivery poses a risk of another what? Cholera outbreak. So what is the trigger? The collapse of what? Service delivery. And she said then a potential or another cholera outbreak may what? Okay. And then someone should say putting pressure on the city of Kalgoorlie's health delivery system. Because one of their mandates was to provide what? Health services. Anchopela. Remember the idea was to use information in the what? In the case study. What have I been told? Therefore, what does it mean to city of Kalgoorlie? Lack of foreign currency hinders the city to procure water treatment chemicals. So what is the risk? Confirm that's a trigger. So what is the risk? The fact that we are saying the city, lack of foreign currency, results in the city failing to procure water treatment chemicals. What risk does this give rise to? Yes.
their money for provide one.
So the failure to procure water treatment chemicals due to foreign currencies may result in what? City of Kagu failing to provide water. Yes. Okay. Okay. But okay, we are saying currently. Okay, yes. Okay, what is the trigger? That's the trigger. Okay, and what is the risk? It will further worsen water sanitation net. So in going forward, what does it mean? Because confirmed risk is what? Forward looking net. So going forward, will City of Gwen be able to, I'm not saying Gwen, City of Kaguri be able to provide water? So remember, the whole point is, guys, okay, can you address something? A risk is what? Forward looking risk. So I think the current existing conditions, how may they negatively affect us going what? Forward. Currently, we are not able to procure chemicals. Going forward, what does it mean?
Okay, I want to ask in terms of the impact of that was to the city of Kabul. Yes, they might struggle to meet the capacity of the water. But what does the impact? I'm thinking maybe to affect the revenue base. To say, okay, the rates that they charge for that water, the revenue base will reduce. I think that's the impact.
Okay, you can go that route, but for me, I would say that is external. They said their objective is to provide what? Water. If you just tell me that impact is failure to provide that water, I'm happy. If you don't want the resulting loss of revenue, it's fine. But the crux of the issue is failure to provide what? Water. Doesn't make sense. If that comes out, I would say you've given me impact. Yep. So let's summarize. What were we looking for in a valid risk? So here I want you to check the script. For the time you see this diagonal line, this diagonal perpendicular. You just see this perpendicular line and you wonder what's going on. So what were we looking for in a valid risk? So a valid risk, we wanted you to identify the trigger from the scenario. So an example here, our trigger was failure to procure water treatment. Then the second part was, how then does that impact the city of Kagunde? It will result in them failing to provide what? Water to residents. Then as for the valid what? What some of you were doing, especially when you see these tick marks. For some of you got these tick marks. It's saying your risk is what is incomplete. Why? Because we're just telling us what was in the scenario. The fact that there is a shortage of chemical, what does it mean? The fact that what was it? The fact that our self-delivery has collapsed, what does it want mean? It might result in another cholera outbreak in them. The fact that in 2018 there was a severe drought. What does it mean going on forward? I hope you are reconciling with what we wrote. So what was missing from our risks? Based on how we wrote our risks, what was missing? Everything. Yes, what was missing? Anyone to contribute? Okay. So the impact on city of Kaguri. Now I want to go back to our comment where we talked about different case studies. The way what I've just explained is that not what we have always expected from a risk. Has anything changed? Nothing has changed. The same way you describe a risk for CAA is the same way you want to describe a risk for the city of Kaguri. And like I said, based on the information in the what? In the case studies. Question? On the? All right. Okay, yes.
My own knowledge,
okay.
so we have classified.
How do you go about it? So now, looking at the specific, remember a number of triggers around failure to provide water. Are those operational issues or strategic issues? Operational, we can't procure chemicals. Does it make sense? Operationally, we've got all water levels in our dam because of drought. Therefore, we can't what? Produce water. Strategically, our service delivery has gone down. That's now a bit broad, doesn't it? Where I think cholera was caused by a general falling of service delivery. Does it make sense? So it means operation is more about your day-to-day task. We wanted to do this on a day-to-day, but we are now failing because of certain circumstances that we are facing on a day-to-day. But my advice to you, I know most of you struggled. Okay, when we marked, we're not even worried about the classification. Because we knew already identifying the risk itself was the problem, isn't it? So try to then focus on the classification. Everyone would have gotten zeros on this question. So now our feedback is to say, for starters, are you even able to identify the risk in it? If you're not able to do it, then you can go to step number 2. Are you able to what? To classify. At least you have solved problem number 1. Happy? Okay, I'll take question at back. For the sake of? Yes. And by similar, what do you mean? Okay, I'm not a fan of the word similar always. They are dangerous. Sorry? Yes.
Operational.
Okay. This is the strategic goal, this is an operational. I would say the problem will arise if my required simply says discuss the operational risks. So if you don't know the distinction between operational and strategic, what's going to happen? You are going to hit everything Mambazong, isn't it? But it means you're not getting marks for those strategic what? Risks. So my advice again is to go back to the note that we gave you on enterprise risk management. Confirm got various classes of risks. Another requirement can say discuss the financial risks, isn't it? Another can say discuss the compliance what? Do you know what is a financial risk? Do you know what's a financial reporting risk? Do you know what's a compliance? So that understanding is very, very what? Important. Okay?
So I just want to refer to the examination point.
Okay.
There's a point which was written, students do not apply themselves to the specific scenario, e.g. a local government institution cannot have a going concern as a possible risk.
Okay. So, okay, are you in agreement with that? Or what is the question?
I'm thinking, if steps is required, there is a going concern risk.
That's enough for us to close. Remember, that's going concern.
Maybe just explain how the going concern is in
We are saying going concern. What is it? You close, isn't it? Yeah. To put it simply, you have failed, you close. But the question is, who will the city of Harare close? It should not be closed, isn't it? What can only happen maybe the town clerk is fired. But the local authority itself, you can't talk about the going concern. And again, the idea there is nobody the lack of application there. What like just used to say things are not going on well, what does it mean? Going concern is in trouble. But never thought to say, who am I dealing with in it? And confirm all of us will know what the local authority is, a minimum. So I can't say I don't know those local authorities. But if, for example, given a required around my risk over those clinics, you got those clinics. If you talk about a going concern of a specific operation, like a clinic, that can be valuable. So if it's not viable, it can be what? Closed. Not the entire local what? Authorities. Yep. Okay, another question on required A. For clarification that you may want. So please, I'm asking if you reconcile what you're holding. If you do not get at least, I'll tell this one at least 9 out of 18. Have you identified where you went wrong? We've identified where we went wrong. All right. So that's the confirmation. I'll move on to the next. I'll move on to the next required. So my next required is talking about, just want to also, okay, our next required B, 19 marks. This one was very interesting. Perform an analysis of the performance of City of Tamburi based on the statement of financial performance and working capital ratio. 10 marks for calculation and 8 marks for comment provided. I want to first comment on this instruction in italics. In your answer, some of us went pages and pages of calculation. Yet rate required was specifically 10 marks for what? The other 8 marks for what? Comment. How did you do the allocation? If I go to your script, is it clear that way saying, okay, I'm going to do so much calculation, then I'm also able to give enough what? Comment. To be able to aim 10 marks of calculation and 8 marks for what? For the computation. So I believe most of us, instead of determining the actual calculation, I know most of you are able to calculate. Confirm. You didn't get zero. You're able to say revenue grew by so much, rate of sales delivered grew by so much. Non-exchange income grew by so much. Our expenditure did this. Our working capital ratio, current ratio, asset test. Very fine. I want the comment now. What is the comment? What do you think was expectation? When it says you are performing an analysis, you determine a number. Say for example, you've done your calculation. And you say revenue from sales delivered. And then your calculation says it grew by 7% or something around that number. What would be our comment? In our comment, what we talk about? I'll give you the comment, okay?
I think what should be an increase in revenue.
Remember, turn on the mic.
I think on our committee should include what could be the reason for the increase in revenue.
Okay, thank you very much. So the comment is, we are trying to explain the change, isn't it? But what did my student write? The comment was revenue or income from service delivery grew by 7% in comparison to prior year. People go to this comment. Is that a comment? Okay, that is an analysis. You're not saying anything. I can see from your calculation that it grew by what? 7%. Now you're just telling me in where business. So effectively, you just repeated what you did, what? Calculated. For me, you tell me what could have caused this increase in what? In income. Does that make sense? And when you go to our case study, this information was on page what? The financial information. Yes. Some of my students, they calculate what I said, I have to pay each line item. They are there who did that. Every line item will calculate it. And the important mark, even what we want to do, but now you are saying, okay, I determine the growth of revenue from the exchange transaction. But I want to understand what of this growth is it? We are now looking inside, isn't it? What do you think is the major driver of what exchange transaction? And how did it move? We could explain the 7%. Does that make sense? So again, I want to compare you to compare with what we wrote. Did we analyze? Or we're repeating what we just identified from our calculation? Then the same problem is revenue from non-exchange transactions. what happened current year prior year, if there was a decrease or if there was an increase, what could have caused that change? Then you go to the individual line items within the statement of financial position. So the statement of financial performance. So any questions on number 2 or required B? That's what we're looking for. I know others were able to totalize on this required. Others were able to totalize. It was very easy to totalize. So they're just comparing prior to current year and compare on the reasons why you think might happen. And I know some of you then also did your working capital ratio analysis, confirm. Was required specifically to also what? Analyze working capital. Then you see someone giving me growth of total assets. Was that a relevant ratio? Or someone giving me, for whatever reason, some of us are calculating the gearing ratios. Were they relevant? Guys, you know what you calculated. This is not yearly. I was talking to you who calculated the gearing. What do you think? Should we have given a mark for calculating the gearing? Anyone who has to comment? Yes, you know what to calculate? Yes, comment. Thank you. So our required was specific, isn't it? Our required says what? On the financial performance and working capital. So in the statement of financial position, you're only supposed to focus on what? Working capital. Unless you don't know what's working capital. So that one, that would be a classic example of what I normally call autopilot in examination. You just can't use required and doing financial statement analysis. We are now calculating. But what I still line is required, I will see later on the video. And I know some of the feedback you give us is time management, confirm. So the time that you get in the exam is so limited. But also analyze your time wastage, isn't it? You've cracked your head trying to calculate the gearing ratio. And I can imagine the amount of time you spend. But normally a gearing, you expect to find share capital, doesn't it? And this number also definitely didn't have what? I now want to say, gearing, what do I do? Then, okay, should I just use the reserves as my equity, isn't it? Then somehow we came up with a ratio. And then actually spend time analyzing that ratio. But it was outside the scope of the required, unfortunately. And we also scoped out the other ratios for a reason. We need you as a local authority, isn't it? The way you analyze their gearing is a bit what? Different. So we didn't want you to go into that space. But my very intelligent said, Elliot, want to demonstrate that we know our things. So that one I found it to be very, very interesting. Then another item just to look at, especially in the commentaries, the commentaries as well, we really had some concerns. Confirm when you look at your chances are when you did your current ratios asset test, they were deteriorating, confirm. So in explaining why they're deteriorating, what did we say? What did we say? Yes. Okay. And what does it mean? Okay, interesting. I would say, well, he's saying based on the information provided, we were told that the city of Kabul is getting challenges importing chemicals from China. So then say, from my personal experience, I know guys from Zilex more or Eastgate road boats. They sell forex in the premium. Therefore, that is the reason why our working capital ratio deteriorated. I would say that one depends on the market. Another marker will not be seduced and will not give you a mark. Other markers will be seduced and give you a mark. And I explain why. Because when I look at working capital, this was our working capital. Any adverse movement, I can see because our receivables are increasing. Based on the information in the case study, we are told that the economic environment is deteriorating. So what does this mean, an economic environment deteriorating? Residents, they don't have money to pay this. Or someone could say, because of the deteriorating service delivery, residents see no point in what? In paying as a way of protesting. But here what am I not doing? I'm using information what? In the case study. To try to explain why our data are what? Increasing. Makes sense? Okay, another comment on the slide. So 19 plus 18, that's how many marks? 32. So how did you do? And in looking at your performance, can you agree something on A and B? Technically, this requires a lot difficult. So it means if you didn't maximize on A and B, chances are high what happened? But I'll say it was because of things that you could have easily managed. Yes, you are preparing for end of years after so. If I've got require that in terms of I can't say knowledge game. I can't say the topic is difficult. Therefore, why am I failing to score what? I am marking those questions. But definitely the difficult required will come, isn't it? So if you are being hammered by the easy required, you then get hammered by the difficult required. The net outcome is maybe some of what we are seeing in our screens. Okay, can we move on to required B? C, sorry. Required C. The famous one, 41 marks. I believe there was a gnashing of teeth on this required. I'm sure that they say, oh, I know some of my students, the moment they just saw the mark allocation, they lost it. So 41 marks, where did they come from? Okay, so let's look at requirements. Personally, I was disappointed by our performance required C1. I'm going to explain that this is for my opinion. So required C1 said prepare cost ledger account for raw materials, work in progress, and finished goods for the month of December 2018 in the water treatment department, isn't it? Happy. Please note the department keeps the record of finished goods at standard cost, with other records left at actual costs. Let's analyze our required. Confirm the word prepare. All of us knew what we're supposed to do. You need to put pen to what? Prepare. Then, cost ledger account. What is the ledger account? Ledger account. What is this? Well, some of the things that we saw. What is the ledger account? It's a T account. Okay. So T account, so you show the T account in math. You know 141. Anyway, and what are the key features of a T account? It is with a debit in the credit. And the first that I expect is what? Opening balance. And why are we putting it on the debit side? Why are we putting it on the debit side? I know. But then all of us have got accounting degrees. You know, some of you with super, what do they call it? The first class? The cum laude. So some of us got the cum laude degrees. But why debit? Because I know you said debit, and you also said what? Debit. Why opening balance the debit? Yes. Take it very much. It's an asset account. So whatever you did, opening balance is supposed to be debit. And debit balance what? Evidence. But I would say some of you failed to even get here. And the question is why? Before even going to the contents of the ledger account, what happened? Anyone care to maybe comment on maybe what they missed in the required?
I actually
Okay, interesting comment. I left it because this was a math exam, and I didn't understand why I was supposed to do a T account. And you know my comment on that one. Okay, guys. Whatever instruction I give in the exam, whether or not you agree with it, do what? Do it. You can come and argue with me afterward. But during that 3 hours, maybe the required phase, jump and hit the ceiling. If I want to say, but why not ask jump and hit the ceiling? And say 20 marks. Do it and get your 20 marks. And argue with me later, say, but take your chin down duties. So this was so I found when you put this required, we knew because of its nature, it was not a difficult requirement. Our students were going to argue with the required. But it was an instruction, prepare what? Cost ledger account. For which account? Raw materials, work in progress, so, and what? Finished goods. Everything. So on the raw material, what is this opening balance? What opening what? Stock, isn't it? And this is what? Closing stock. Does it make sense? Then the most interesting thing now on this ledger account was what we purchased during the year, isn't it? Confirm. So if you go to the scenario, I know I had some students who just got, I think the raw materials accounted about 8 or so marks, isn't it? And others just hit 100% on that aspect. So all these other information just to put you off in it. Explaining screening, coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection. And I know you're scratching your hands, eh? Am I supposed to know what coagulation is? You didn't even get it required when you understand what coagulation was. So, okay, fine, coagulation. I can Google it after the exam. Okay, so I just want to highlight something. Okay, guys. You were told that raw materials and work in progress are recorded what? Was the actual standard cost. Raw material and work in progress. It's recorded as what? Remember the required. It's an actual need. It's only the standard cost. What do you think was the relevance of that instruction? Because I know some of my students completely disregarded that instruction. Or again, it was the LOT or the math team trying to be difficult for nothing. So it meant that for the raw materials cost account and the work in progress cost account, I'm using actual costing. Whatever I put in there is an actual cost. Here I just given the standard quantities or standard cost to produce 100,000 watts. Then below that, we are given the stock levels at the start and end of what? December. And then someone fails to record opening stock in the cost rate account. It's a minimum. So chlorine, we are told opening stock is 7 liters. Then I need to know the actual cost per liter of chlorine. Get it? Then I go to the information in the scenario. What are the actual costs? Then again we are given information to say how many liters of chlorine were purchased during the month. And being recorded what cost was it standard or actual? Purchases. Actual. We are using actual, but some of you use standard. But yet the required was 300. Yes. Which paragraph? Yes. So when you're performing the task, whatever you did, where did you get instruction? You got it from the required, isn't it? So what is what is the primary source of information? It's not what the required. It's the required, it's only. For the finding the required, you can use some assumption which go against what they told you in the scenario. So you're looking for something. So if you ignore what required they told you, or just say this was the instruction, because I can take this same scenario and give you a different set of required. You agree? So can you take this as a learning point? Like I said, please never ask me what. I will agree. You never argue with. So always tell yourself, even if I don't agree with the fact, because if you come to begging, if I don't agree with what the fact says, you can become to say at the end of the fact told me this. And this what I this. So I can't tell I want to say bad. I said this or that. They're using the instruction in the fact. Sorry? Okay, I'm saying that confirm there are things that can control. There are things that you can't control. So guys, find what things that can control you. And I'm telling you that it's going to happen again, that I can give it back an assumption. That's what I told you the case that. And if you're going to fight it, I'm telling you, not what I can say, assuming the rate is 12%, if I give it 10% in Islam. So use my assumption of 12 what? So that's not more about the exam technique confirm. You don't even need to spend the night reading. Just say on the day of the exam, in my reading is required to understand. Okay. However, on the cost account, there's one that we want to illustrate quickly that I believe most of us then struggled with, even if we're able to pick out that we're supposed to do those ledgers. Where is this? Yes. For example, said in the required, it's only finished goods just measured at what? A standard what? Cost. Confirm. So that meant my opening inventory and my closing inventory have to be what? Standard cost. So it meant that we expected you to calculate the standard cost of finished goods because standard cost of treated water. Confirm. You agree? But I don't know most of us, the 50,000 what was given, and the 25,000 again was given. So we expected you to do a calculation of standard cost of purified water. How many of us pick that one out? To determine the standard cost of purified water. But from the way that I might, I had a couple of students who went as what did you do? Nemo. Because all these things were given in scenario. To say you produce 100,000 liters of water, how much chlorine do you need in it? And what are the standard cost of chlorine? To produce and then disinfect it, how much of the disinfectant did you require? And what is the standard cost of what? The disinfectant. How many of us even got here? To say, did you calculate standard cost? Well, remember, guys, okay, when I say get yield, there's also something interesting that you need to also, when you look at your script, you know at times, you can have the number. Confirm. You say you could have somewhere you have $500. But when I'm assessing, you say, in that $500, what are you calculating over? When you try to calculate this number, it's not therefore, it's not the one. However, if you strongly feel that whatever you wrote is valid, I can always come to a silly private, isn't it? And you can look at your scripts. But before you come, just ask yourself a simple question to say, was this my thought process in the exam? Or somewhere, somehow, I just stumbled on some of the numbers. But not to say I was deliberate to say I'm trying to calculate the standard cost for purposes of valuing my opening purified water and my closing purified water. Anyway, so this was C1. Any questions on C1? What do you think went wrong on C1? For those who struggled with C1, other than not knowing what is a cost ledger account. Also excluding those who said in the map I can't have C account. I can't talk about opening balance and closing balance. Any other questions on C1? C1, yes.
Solution on the raw materials account, opening balance and balances used for standard. Then the question that you should use the actual cost.
To say only, sorry, I'll just add. Okay. Or to say on the raw materials, the opening stock. So on that one, what you also noted in our, so here question is saying on the raw materials and maybe not to be on the raw materials account, the opening stock and the closing stock made use of for standard cost. On this one, I think we're also then giving credit to some students because in our case studies, we then didn't also give the actual cost for the opening and the closing inventory. So we're also then also now giving benefit of the doubt to say, number one, if you got the quantities right in it, and then also came out with the valid multiplier, you say now based on the information, if you did give the actual cost, how did you calculate? How do you calculate the opening in the dollar amount? Question. Shoot. Sorry? Yes. Let me also read the comments.
I think it's tricky.
He's talking about what you did. Or to say, okay, the comment, sorry. Now from what he, so the comment is, what we didn't want was, after I think prepare the raw material account. So the comment was simply saying, in our ledger account, we're looking for one raw material account. So the comment is saying, somewhere the chlorine account, yet the disinfectant account, yet the one of the other raw material, yet the gradual account. After that exam, the first comment is saying, so it's the total
For each raw material. Raw material. In the figure.
sorry? You said? What was going to do? Instead of the total raw material. Okay, maybe it's not a question of interpretation. So I think more required is one and three ledger account. The raw materials, the work in progress, and the finished goods. And that's what I'm talking now about, different interpretation. We thought by saying when we wrote our file, we say if you want to do government, which is one is very cheap, to see accounts in our language. But our program, by the time say, you don't have some issues. You can also bring your children and discuss individually and see how they can assist each other. But what I'm more worried about is those rupees that were supposed to do ledger account and the expected content of those ledger accounts. And then also on the finished goods, those then to calculate the standard cost of purified water, which we are supposed to use to value the opening and closing inventory. Okay, and we can move on. So C2 was another 18 months. Calculate all the relevant variances for the water treatment department. Calculate all the relevant variances for the water treatment department. How did we find this one? Yes. C2. Sorry? Yes.
I personally have that. Why remark not in our usage variance?
You calculate usage variance for which?
For next year.
Okay, remember, okay, we will discuss on say, I want to emphasize something. I want to talk about the relevant. What we are saying from the information provided. If I look at the sales, are you able to count the sales price variance? Are you able to count the sales volume variance? If you don't have information to calculate volume variance, then somehow you then calculated it. Then it becomes not a relevant what? Variance. That was our interpretation of what? Relevant, isn't it? So let's now go to the actual variances. So it's not based on what? So specifically one of the variances for the water what? Treatment. And based on our suggested solution, then we can comment from there. We had information to determine the sales volume what? Variance. Do you agree? We had information to determine the sales volume variance. So we calculated the volume variance. But if I remember well, did we have information to calculate the sales price variance? So we didn't have information for the sales price variance. Therefore, we didn't calculate the sales price. So on the volume variance, I want to make a comment. So formula for volume variance, as we say, standard what? We are saying actual volume minus standard volume multiplied by standard what? Margin. So on the calculation of the margin, we would have done that in C1 when we counted the standard cost of what purified water. So just expect you to carry forward that number. So we saw something that we were able to pick out that C1 is supposed to calculate the standard cost. They came to C2, they calculated standard cost again. We do a repetition where you're not getting additional marks in it. We're just supposed to carry forward whatever number that you didn't C1. Then you determine your volume variance.
So how are we supposed to know that volume?
How are you supposed to know? Sorry?
How are we supposed to know that?
Okay. So he's saying, how was I supposed to know I'm using marginal costing or absorption costing? You're supposed to know based on this information. If I come back to my scenario, And I've got chlorine, disinfectant, blood or charcoal direct level, isn't it? Then we also had some production overhead. Then to give me what? My standard cost to produce a liter of water, confirm. So which other items do you want to include? Yes? To say how are you supposed to treat them? Is that the question?
The question was, how are they supposed to know that we have to pay?
Why did you want to know?
Because the time
I'm saying for the purpose of our required. Guys, remember how many want to say, so here's the question is, how, well, we're not told whether we're using variable cost index. We have got or absorbed cost. And my question to him is, why did we require that information? Yes.
I think from the question, in the last lecture, if there are highly trained variables for the company that uses variable so we use close matching. But if it's absorption costing gain, we say actual quantity.
But in my argument, I hear you, but I'm saying, what did my scenario tell you? It gave you standard cost, isn't it? And I didn't even give you information around the other overhead, isn't it? Does it make sense? So what we said, based on it, will calculate all relevant ones. Variance. And based on the information provided, could you not calculate a standard margin if I have given you the standard cost? Okay, if you can pass on the mic.
Yeah, yeah, that's high level now. What you say? I think we're just accustomed to be told that, somehow I should be able to equate absorption costing, or I'm using standard contribution margin, or full cost. So maybe there was nothing in the scenario which led us to believe either full cost or contribution margin.
But did I give you the full cost? And I'm saying, what made you go the absorption cost, or you just wanted your easy way out of to say, I just want to go, what standard price minus actual volume and actual minus budget volume and standard what? Price. And barring that, we are saying, and also for this required, we are getting most of the mass of the current standard margin we're given in C1. But I also want you to go back to your to the formula that we gave in your modules. My advice to you, whenever you're looking at especially your price variances, please, your starting point is to use standard margin, unless otherwise indicated. Yes. Anyway, let's move on to our variances. Time is not on our side. So here we just want, if you can assist me by highlighting those that you had challenges with, isn't it? Then you can spend a bit more time on them. Confirm the price variances, there was no issue. On the raw material price variances, confirm. If you didn't get those marks, then you may need to go and read this knowledge in variances. Because those are the quite what straightforward on the price variances. Then labor rate variance, I think it was again quite straightforward, unless otherwise. Labor rate, do you have any issues? Okay, labor hours, were there any issues? And I think, yeah, maybe just another point to note. the issue around flexing the budget, isn't it? So when you are comparing, you need to compare like with what? Our actual production was how many liters? Does anyone still remember? Our actual production. So your standard cost was given for 100,000 liters. Yes, then we produce 375 liters. So then ask yourself, what should have been the standard liters of chlorine to produce 375 liters of 1,000 liters of water? Not to automatically use this 50 liters. Confirm it will mislead you. The 50 liters is the standard number of liters to produce 100,000 liters. But what is the standard number of liters of chlorine required to produce 375,000 liters? You do a bit of mathematics. But I know that some of you are not buying that without flexing in it. Then definitely it will distort your variances. Okay, I think that there was a comment that was made to say, well, didn't there usage variance material? Where was it? Mixed variance, what is it? So did you not calculate usage variance? So we said calculate all relevant variance based on information provided. And based on information we gave you, you should have been able to break down the usage variance into what? Into mix. Because if you then went the global route, it means you will not then get the insight to say what caused whatever variance, global variance you saw. It was because of a change of the budget proportion versus the actual proportions. To then determine your mix what variance. And one thing I will acknowledge, anyone mixed variances are difficult, can you agree? Confirm they are difficult, isn't it? And I also agree with you. So from an exam technique, what do you do? Make sure that you end your marks in all the other variables, which I agreed set for. If you didn't get it on the mix, then your loss would be up to 5 marks. But we required 118 marks. Then you've gotten your other one, 18 marks. That makes sense. So here from an exam technique, I normally say at times accept defeating it. To say this one, even during my practice, I never got it right. Chance of you getting right in the exam are also what? Minimum. So if that I say, let me ring fence this and focus on the other what? Variances. If I've got time, I can start playing around with those things and see whether you could salvage something, which I know most of you were not able to salvage anything. Then we calculated the what? The yield. Can you see where our issue was? So if that's the mix and the yield, they'll give you what? The usage value. How many of us got here? I know sometimes they could see mix could be calculated, but they lost their way in the back water. But at least you could recognize that information provided, I could determine the mix variance, I could determine the yield what? Variance. Confirmed mix is input based. Confirm. Then the yield is what? Output based. Agreed. So here maybe it's an issue of just revising your knowledge again on the what? On the mix and yield variances. But I also say something. From my experience in CPA, one thing that will come to appreciate, generally students struggle with variance analysis. So from an exam plan, what should that also tell you? Maybe I should do some of these cases last week. But more often than not, you know that a student generally struggle with variance. And if they will then put the mixed yield, if it's labor, then put the efficient, the more complex efficient, or even the labor mixed variance, which will not do for your CTA 1 exams. Come rain, come thunder, get to calculate those what? The variance. Okay. Another question on the required C2. 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 Okay, then C3 said comment on the possible reason for the adverse variance. And you see someone commenting on the favorable variance. An adverse was put in bold for the avoidance of doubt. But some of us went on to say, I've done my variance in general, that's what you do. So variance analysis, I comment on everything. But I believe the mark allocation of something indicators. So what do you want me to comment on the adverse variance? And what do you mean by commenting? The same thing we talked about in business. We are trying to explain why there was that adverse variance. Not to tell me, as part of your comment, the sales volume variance was adverse. Why? Then explain to us why you think with that particular adverse variance, linking the information in the case study. And then you get your 5 marks. Yes.
In the comments, like in your answer part 3, but to like after you've gotten an advice.
You said C2, you got an adverse which is wrong. Is that your question?
And then you just comment part 3. Like,
Sorry?
comment was on part 3, right?
Yes.
But then we just said just do it together after you've gotten an advice, you comment down.
On this one, okay, here I would say we're not awarded, but remember we are saying the required were independent. We said C2, can you calculate it? Please calculate. C3, can you then do something else? Even though I think as a follow-up to C2. But the question is when I'm marking, I need to see C3. Did you get a question? She said on the C2 I was already commenting. And I'm saying on C2, the file never said comment. Duplicating what? Okay, guys, anyway, hey. I'm wondering what you mean by saving time. Maybe I'm a bit lost. When you talk about saving time, what you did versus just having C3 and commenting, what was the difference? Did you need to repeat anything on C3 that you have done in C2? You didn't need to repeat anything. But your problem, your comment is the material price variance for chlorine is added. That was the problem. So that's why you thought you are repeating it. But comment is explaining to me why we had to add this variance for what? For chlorine. Another 22 mark. Transplants. Baba Kaipa. Pharmacy. So the first one there was a 4 mark who said, calculate the monthly full cost per transplant under the absorption cost method. Then he said for what? For 4 marks. So the question is, the statement says monthly full cost. What do you understand by that one? By saying monthly full cost, what did you understand? By monthly full cost, what did you understand? Yes. So it's the monthly, the keyword was, we are looking at the month, isn't it? And the month confirm you could have more than one transplant. That makes sense. But during your statement, we wanted full cost for kidney transplant for a month. Full cost, what are the other transplants? Heart transplant for a what? For a month. Some of us calculate the cost just for one transplant. So the keyword there was for what? Monthly, isn't it? And I know for those who got to say it's monthly, I think that one was a simple one. So just taking your cost and absorption based on what? Oh boy, we're being absorbed this what? Directly per hour, isn't it? Then you absorb your overseas directly per hour. You get your what? Your full cost. And then I know some of us included income in this statement. But it's appropriate. We say income from the transplant. Income was relevant. But the client only wanted to focus on the cost. But as usual, some of my good colleagues, autopilot, they want the wrong statement, isn't it? So I need to start out with my income. Then I left my applicable cost. Then I determine my profitability. So A confirmed was there were no issues. So when we look at B, G2, they said determine through relevant calculations the impact on profitability of each of the 3 organ transplant procedures. Should any affecting polyclinic adopt the ABC method? ABC, what do we use it for? ABC is used for? So ABC, we use it for allocating over, isn't it? So in C1, we allocated using direct labor hours. In C2, we now want to allocate using what? ABC methods. And here I put some of my students. Don't you have a to understand, okay, how do I use A, B to allocate what? Over. So here before we look at the solution, we want to quickly summarize the steps that we use when you want to allocate overhead using ABC. What is the first thing you need to do when you want to allocate overhead using ABC? Yes. Sorry? Identify the cost driver. I said before identifying the cost driver, what is the first step? If someone told me about the cost, the first step, identify the overhead cost, isn't it? Then you say, with this overhead cost, then you come to your step. What are the cost towards driver? Because after the cost driver, you want it to allocate the overhead cost. So he's saying identify the overhead cost. Then number two, identify what? For what purpose do we use the cost driver? Can you allow me just to illustrate this with a simple example? But it is after you have allocated the overhead, what do we do? So let's say the overhead cost you have identified is the hypothetical, not cost of setting up. You are saying the total cost is 100,000. Then the cost driver, why do we need it? The cost driver, why do we need it? Yes. So that okay, so that we are able to apportion the cost to the what? The cost center or the conduct or service. But also I want to allocate the cost to a kidney transfer, to a heart transplant. So let's say our cost driver is number of setups confirmed. If I go with my example, and I'm saying for the period I'm looking at, I then need the number of activities, isn't it? Let's say my setups are how many? 100. Every. What will be the next step? I now have the overhead cost, I now have the cost driver. What is the next step? What is the next step? I thought everyone answered this question. And then Papa would just sticky most of us. From this way too, yes. So he's saying I need to calculate the OAR for the setup cost. How do we calculate the OAR? It's the overhead divided by the activity level, the number of the cost drivers. So I'm going to say 100,000 divided by 100. What do I get? 100,000 divided by 100. It's 1,000. Say what? A setup. At this stage, if I allocated the cost, the product was selling. I'm not yet there. Some of us were then ending here. And putting this one to step in. So what will be the next step? What will be the next step? Yes. So volume. The number of setups 100, I'll go get 100,000. And by constant, how do you mean by constant? Sorry? Remember, okay, that thing, it's like, what are we trying to cost? It's a product for 12 minutes. We now want to allocate that cost, the product for what? And how big is this? The cost per setup, yes, that's what we 1,000. All right, can I crystallize? To put it, I want to put this in product in a way. So what we then want is consumption of cost driver per unit of output. Confirm. If I'm going to have a kidney transplant, how many setups does it require? This one. I'll repeat again. Consumption of cost driver per unit of what? Output. So each unit of output being a transplant, how many setups does it what? Require? So in the case, okay, this requires 2. This one. Then what is my next step? I'm now determining set up cost per unit. This one. So how do you determine the setup cost per unit? I thought the answer is not there. Yes. And you said we require 2, isn't it? So what is our setup cost per unit? It's now 1,000 times what? Times 2 units. Then we now have $2,000 per unit. So this is how you apply ABC. But I know that some of us really got confused on this and that. Say ultimately, what cost do you want to determine? What is the cost per transplant? Then you can set the number of transplants in that particular month. To get your full cost, isn't it? In our answers, where did we miss it? Yes. At this stage. All right. To say identifying the relevant cost driver. All right. Okay, to say the number of cost drivers. So he's saying I got start here. How many cost drivers do we have? Did you have 100? Did you have 2? Did you have 5? We then distorted the whole allocation. So now ask yourself, what am I trying to quote? So when I look at the total number of cost drivers over what period in a month, that makes sense. If you said your cost driver, what cost drivers did we have? We had theater preparation. How many drivers did we have of theater preparation? Or you said you are not doctors. Theater preparations, how many drivers do you have? This is how we are given the drivers. So a third activity in theater preparation, called driver number of what? Theater preparation. So how many theater preparations do we have? We have 30. And how did you get the 30? How did you get the 30? Yes. The number of, sorry? You are given a month with 15, 10, 5. Okay? Then you add the number to get the total number of theater preparation. Others, do you agree with that? You say, course driver is the number of theater preparations. Therefore, how many times you need to prepare the theater? They are saying we added the number of transplants for each individual man. But I would say, for me, the key learning point there is picking out this process. But at least, let's say you're not advised you need something. You identify, say, where did I get lost? Did I get lost at identifying the overhead cost? So some of you are now allocating variable costs in ABC, which is inappropriate, isn't it? Or I use the overhead cost for allocation, but in identifying the cost driver, I identify the wrong cost driver for an overhead, isn't it? So then that's another potential error. Then another field says I was able to identify the correct cost driver, but I got stuck on the number of what? Driver. The number of drivers in a given month. Someone goes there, then he says, so why did I get stuck? Maybe they determine the absorption rate per cost driver. This is not yet pay transplant confirmed. They are need to convert this cost to cost per watt per transplant. And now the consumption of the cost driver per watt per transplant. Up until I get what? The overhead cost per watt. But one thing that I would confirm, ABC is not that easy. Confirm. But the time we're going to see where do I salvage marks within an ABC what? Question. But I'm hoping anytime you get an ABC problem, can you use this thought process? It will definitely assist you in coming up with the correct or appropriate conclusion in terms of the cost allocation. I didn't get any comment of any say about this one. Don't worry, we're good. Can we move on to the next required? Another question on D2. So the question on D2. D2. So on D2, what's the thing of questions? For comparison purposes, I know some of you they started going calculate profit for D1. There is compare G1 versus G2. So then that's how they wasted your time. You just need to look at the course. They're going to tell you impact on what? The cost allocation to officers were different. The difference between the two would be what? Impact of profitability of each. But I'm ready to see impact on profitability. I need to calculate profits. That's the only way I can see impact on one. If I buy something for $1, if I buy something for $20, what is the difference impact on profitability? 20 cents difference. Okay. G3. But I'm not going to find out of 5 for G3. G3. Come on. If you didn't get it 5 out of 5, then I'll all me rubbish. This was just straight from your notes to a script, isn't it? What are the benefits of adopting what? ABC. So this will expect you from your notes to your solution. Then our last requirement, key performance indicator. After 0 I know all of you when you came out of the exam, before you go to E, you celebrate that performance was not examined. So the E says identify key performance indicators for the water treatment department under the internal business process and learning and growth perspective using the balanced scorecard model. So let's analyze our requirements. Identify. So identifying, you're picking from somewhere. So it's identifying from where? From the scenario. That means that whatever you're going to write was supposed to come from the scenario. What were we identifying? Key performance indicators. So, and what is a KPI? What is a KPI? And all of you think the performance evaluation etc. What is a KPI? Yes.
Just a number or something which makes
So you're saying it's a number or something that we can use to measure performance. So remember, our key performance indicator, we are saying we want to evaluate performance. How do we measure that performance? We need an indicator. What indicates that the past CTA? This is what So he is saying attaining to 45%. So that's a key KPI. So then say now going to the scenario. We say key performance indicator for what is it? For the water treatment department. But you know what? Simply ignore that. If you are focused on the water treatment department, I don't know how to clearly came into play in. Unfortunately, I can't use brilliant KPIs for the clinic. But the local answer is required. So you need to go back to information on the water treatment department. And another thing, from an internal business process, what KPIs can we use to evaluate whether they were being efficient. Learning and growth, what is it? The learning and growth. What does it talk about? Another balance scorecard. What is learning and growth? Balance scorecard. Learning and growth. But again, there is no wake up. So learning and growth is all around continuous improvement. You agree? How do we measure whether we are learning from past mistakes, whether we are improving? Then business processes. We are now looking at our internal processes. How do we measure performance in our in the other core relation? So I want you to show some of the examples we are suggest solution. We started an example in terms of the process perspective. We can measure the number of machine breakdowns as a KPI. We can measure the number of reprocessing of water. Someone would say, because our water is not properly treated to cause cholera. I can measure the number of cholera outbreaks. So guys, this type of question, okay, this is one country in 5 months. We know we use it as a totally new item in most of us. But what we want to emphasize to you, going forward, especially your CTA, is going to be very common. What we expect is that based on your understanding of the case study, how best can we measure? And this was our test 2, which is the beautiful maths that most of us work. So going forward, talking, how many years? So I talking going forward. How that one make clear? Okay, guys. Okay, I will agree with you. But if you look at management accounting finance, okay, it's on the difficult side. I will not lie to you and say math is easy. I'll be listening to you. But what I want you to do as part of training the math, can you remove the word always in your vocabulary? And you know what it means always? If I get a question like this is how always you're supposed to answer you. That terminology is very dangerous in math. Why? Things in math vary based on the information in the case study. Especially how you respond to a problem. So it means as part of your preparation, can you please work on scenario combination skills? Once you've done a practice question, always reflect, how good was I at using information in the if you have got a study group and you are now marking each other's question, count the number of times where you have to justify a solution point by referring to another question. What your colleague will ask you, why did you do this way? He said, because that question here is not either. That's inappropriate, isn't it? That question is all information, which is why whatever was done that way. In this question, why did you do it this way? You just explain because I was told this is the scenario. And why asked me to do this? And my principle says this. Now, energy may be case closed. Maybe you can argue on your understanding of the principle. Say, my friends, you are lost. You only understand the principle is incorrect. You are supposed to understand this. So which means, as you are doing your study plan, please, I want you to allocate. If you write a 3-hour paper, which is 100 marks, how many minutes or hours should it take you to revise? If you write a 3-hour paper, you have written it. You are now marking it as fit and revising. How long do you think it should take you? Revising, not writing. You have written. You are now revising. How long should it take you? It should take you at least 50% of the writing time. So that's about 1.5 hours. And why? Because we are saying, once you have done this required, analyze, what did I do wrong there? If you don't understand, please don't move forward. Go and find your way. But probably at night, I've seen someone coming for consult. Because these 10 questions they've done, and all of them they've got issues. Now, so you accepted 10 questions and you're just packaging the issues and collecting the issues. So it means it's not like you wasted effort, isn't it? Yes, you after the first question, I don't know what's going on. Seek your opinion. It came from a colleague. It came from one of the lecturers, but seek help. Clear out any issues before you move on to the next one. And I also want you to keep a catalog of your own personal common mistakes. Do you know your common mistakes at individual level? So once you have that checklist, on the 6th of October, ask yourself, have I cleared out these common mistakes? Or are just praying that by the grace of God, they are going to disappear on the exam day? They won't disappear if you don't work on them. What is my common mistake? Maybe I'm not paying enough attention to the required. Since I'm doing my studying or revision, I'm focusing on that. Or my common mistake, I'm not paying enough attention to information this study. Or my common mistake or common problem, when I'm asked to do calculation, I don't know what to calculate. Then you work on that as part of your revision plan. So lastly, before I take my final comments from everyone, is around what do I want to talk about? I had a very important final comment to make. I'm not forgetting what it was. Oh, say what's in the exam? I don't say what my final comment. My final comments were around, yes, mental aptitude. Now I explain what I mean by mental aptitude. Some of us are failing not because of a lack of preparation, but because of what we do during those 3 hours. Some of us panic. Some of us start to sweat. All sorts of things start to happen during that 3-hour exam. So after, I want you to reflect on how you behave in exams by looking at the past assessment. What are the bad habits you are noticing about yourself that you need to work on? But unfortunately, you put long hours. But the moment you just get in this room, certain things start to happen. I remember one of the times, this was in high school. Our high school teacher used to tell us that the best way at times to prepare is remove exam fee. Also go and do some of the study session where possible in the room that you're going to write the exam in English. Change things, if it's change, for a while going to Anglican churches. At least some of you are saying we need to be praying by the grace of God. So just go there, they have a prayer session. But what I'm just trying to say is some of us are failing just because of the exam fee. Nothing else. To the extent that we can't even use our common sense in the exam. They disappear outside the unit. At the moment they are told 1 hour left, and they are told the second question. Or 30 minutes left, sorry about 25. So please, exam aptitude, wait for this. And last one exam. I know what we talk about time. Because the rest is trying to write answer all questions. So then that's the time of the and all that is waiting for us. After answering all questions, you get me the same. What's the general investment? Very important. So here's my school of thought. At times to pass, you don't need to answer everything. But the question is, how well do you answer what you want? So how will you buy what? This way don't reply. Oh, I need this learn. Everything we are getting, oh. It's because you're not paying enough attention or take your time. So it doesn't make a good say be able to answer 90% of the exam. They should be able to pass with it. But I think for the 90% I was deliberate with our answer. Based on that, the overhead has to be per hour. So you get to start to make some of these funny mistakes. All right, that's me. Any other questions? Yes.
My question is there still hope of making?
Hope. I just thought there's people living in Zimbabwe were very hopeful people. You know how when we look at hope, I hope you have been able to discuss some of your guys in CTA2 or even those who have qualified. To say it, never say never. I always say, even if just one got 30% or whatever, man, make life difficult for CAA by doing what? By passing your final exam. Say, guys, yes, make my cumulative. I now think about required, but I'm going to pass my what? My final. But ultimately, it's all about learning. When we came here, I started just one class. You saw things. I can only say that. Mid-year, maybe you're starting trying to figure out. But before you knew it, we're only at test 2. Then at the end of the day, I'm consolidating everything. I've now understood what I'm supposed to do. I passed. So please, never say never. Up until the day you die. Okay, any other question? So in the weekend class, I understand you did a survey for my CAD. Where you're indicating my topical areas. If you didn't complete it's beyond my say, I'm trying to send you a message. You would please complete a survey. We're trying to get to say what issues you want us to address. And that's going to be the focus of the weekend block class. So if you didn't contribute, your issues are not going to be addressed. Okay, I have to find an exam. Don't put on exam. Okay, find the exam. Set for topics. We are now doing everything we can by doing the end. Which is why I got 200 marks for math. So imagine what I can do. Then we'll see you at the weekend.